Hello, everyone. My name is Zion, and this is my parenting philosophy project. And I decided to do it on sibling rivalry because um, I have four siblings, and growing up, I definitely can say that I've had a rivalry with each of them, um, although I'm the second youngest. Um, and also, I just wanted to be more educated on it and how to deal with it, and to help me as a future parent to know how to deal with this before it gets to that point. So, what is sibling rivalry? Sibling rivalry is the jealousy, competition, and fighting between brothers and sisters. It is a concern for almost all parents of two or more children. Problems often start right after the birth of the second child. Sibling rivalry usually continues throughout childhood and can be very frustrating and stressful to parents. So I specifically had used early childhood, ages 2 to 5, which are preschool years. So in the next few slides, I will be talking about physical, cognitive, and emotional development throughout this stage of a child's life. So some physical changes. Children grow slower than before. At age 2, children grow from about 34 inches and 29 pounds to 42 inches and 42 to 45 pounds at age 5. This can vary depending on socioeconomic status, nourishment, health, and heredity factors. They begin to develop sensory and motor skills like walking. So, motor skills are physical abilities or capacities. Gross motor skills, which include running, jumping, hopping, as example, involve the use of large bodily movements. Fine motor skills, however, involve the use of small bodily movements, like drawing and writing. Both gross and fine motor skills develop and are refined during early childhood. However, fine motor skills develop more slowly in preschoolers. A 3-year-old's brain has twice as many synapses, which are connections among brain cells, and has more neurotransmitters, the transfer of information. The left hemisphere of the brain develop more throughout early childhood. Some skills include language, writing, logic, and mathematical skills. There is also an increase in attention span and memory. Children start to understand others. They start to develop feelings that evaluate self, such as guilt, shame, pride. Children may believe failure and success directly affects their worth as a person through the global performance orientation. Or they could use specific learning orientation, which states that a single action does not determine your worth. So in the next few slides, I will be talking about the changes that come with the birth of a new child. So in parenting and with most likely the older child. So to keep in mind, there is more than one child now. In early childhood, children often experience the birth of a sibling. The birth of another child reduces the amount of time and energy that parents can give to the older child. So with a new baby on the way, demands increase on the parents' part. So they may become more controlling, more parent-centered, and more harsh and disciplined toward the firstborn. Prior to the new child being born, parents had undivided attention to give to the older child, as well as a more child-centered parenting approach, which can affect the firstborn negatively. So the changes of having a sibling come with tension, and some of the reasons why siblings fight or have a rivalry: they compete for their parents' love and affection. They want recognition. They may feel that there's unequal treatment. For example, Parents may be more focused on the newborn than the older child, comparing children to each other. So example, they may use someone's behavior against the other child. So an example would be, why don't you do this like him? Or why don't you act like him? Undeveloped ability to regulate emotions, release stress that has been built up throughout the day, to draw attention, self-centered mentality. So the first 3 years of a child's life, they have a more self-centered mentality, meaning the world revolves around them. They don't have a worldview or perspective of everyone else just yet, although it is still in development at this time. Or they could just simply be bored, hungry, or sleep deprived. Sibling conflicts account for 20% of distress at home. So, the book that I had used to help me with this topic is called Parenting Siblings, Guidebook for All Parents and Families Who Are Expecting New Brothers and Sisters, Bringing Up Children as a Team Without Conflict or Jealousy, by Johanna Bergstein. And she highlights 5 tips to incorporate after the birth of a new child. These tips are mostly for the older child. So, number 1, plan exclusive time with mom and dad or another person who means a lot to the child. So, an example would be taking walks to the park with dad, with just the older child and the dad or the person who means a lot to the child. This can create a stronger bond, and the child will be able to accept that the parents still care for him and he is not neglected. Number 2, include the older child in taking care of the new baby. So you could assign the older child simple tasks like helping with bath time or, grabbing supplies or whatever the parents need. And this will also help the child to understand what the child needs, what the baby needs. Number 3, allow closeness. So this could be through physical contact, whether it be hugging, cuddling, or reading a book together. Number 4, recognize the child's needs. Number 5, avoid terms like big brother or big sister. So these terms actually hold a lot of weight to some people, and there may be pressure and stress or frustration that comes with it because they feel like they have to uphold that title. What can parents do to help their children? If parents sense a conflict coming, they have the power to redirect their children's attention elsewhere. So a good example would be have the children plan an activity or something to get their attention somewhere else, and to also ensure that they will be having fun and putting their mind somewhere else. Parents should allow children to solve the conflict by themselves. It also helps them with self-confidence and helping them to articulate their feelings and for future reference as well. Parents can provide support by asking about the feelings behind the conflict. It should be done with empathy and understanding. Make it a habit to check on each child's behavior or feelings. Rudolf Dreikurs suggests that parents can reduce jealousy by making it clear that all children are loved equally for his or her individual qualities. Avoid using one child's behavior to humiliate the other. So a big one that is highlighted in the quote is a misbehaving child is a discouraged child. So if the child is misbehaving or trying to pick a fight with the other sibling, they may just be discouraged by parents' manipulation through comparison. So as a parent, make sure you are not um, holding one child higher than the other. Some resources for parents. So throughout the book, um, it was mentioned parent support groups, which are organized by Philip and Carolyn Cohen. These groups help parents cope with this transition to parenting, as well as helps them to verbalize what they need, what they're missing, or some expectations that they have going into parenting. The second one is this is a book called Preventing Sibling Rivalry: 6 Strategies to Build a Jealousy-Free Home. So, what is cool about this book is that it uncovers the psychological happenings behind sibling rivalry and shows parents how to overcome a problem that is actually common. And here are my references. Thank you guys so much for watching and for listening.